Niamh McEvoy, Sinead Finnegan, Dublin competing in their fifth All-Ireland final this coming Sunday. That's some level of consistency from the side to make it to that many finals in a row.
Yeah, so obviously at the end of every season, there obviously is that bit of tiredness, but then you get a break. We obviously got a more substantial break this year, and it left us off to celebrate for a few more weeks. So we were more than enthusiastic coming into the start of the year, and we've left 2017 behind us. Obviously, we enjoyed that a huge amount, but we've been concentrating all year on each individual goal. So we're really happy with how we fared in the league, and we can try to build on that coming to the Leinster Championship, and then obviously now the All-Ireland series. So.
Yeah, you kicked off the year winning your maiden Division 1 title, then went in to win your seventh Leinster in a row. Again, the consistency levels have been there. Looking through the championship, it has been sort of the level of performances have gone up with each game, culminating in the first half against Galway in the semi-final, where Dublin just really went at Galway and won the game in the first half with the performance that was put in.
Yeah, I think the league win, just to go back to your first point, was something that we were particularly proud of, because that's something that we've never achieved in Dublin ever, so that was history for us, so that was great. But then we came into became really excited and looking forward to the championship, and as you said, we've kind of built on each game as it comes, but the first half against Galway was great, and we were really happy with our first half performance, but we probably did shoot ourselves in the foot in the second half performance and took the foot off the pedal a little bit. So that's something that we're still trying to hope to achieve as of this year. I don't think as a team we haven't really gotten the full 60 performance yet, so that is something that we're trying to zone in on for the final, to try and keep pushing ourselves. So the match is not over till the ref blows it, so you just have to keep fighting till the end. So yeah, that's something that we're going to hope to build on and kind of zone in on and train for the next.
Yeah, I suppose getting that 60-minute performance in the final will be the best place to do it as well. It's Cork. You've had many battles with Cork down the years. I know I spoke to you after the semi-final. You had a bit of a surprise look when I said it's role reversal this time. Dublin are going in as All-Ireland champions. Cork are trying to dethrone Dublin, so that's a new challenge for this team as well.
Yeah, obviously we've had some epic encounters in the past with Cork. There's been some really exciting games. Fortunately, we were on the wrong side of it, but we obviously garnered a lot of confidence from last year, and I think it's really galvanised the group, and I think we've shown that in performances this year when our backs are against the group. That experience that we have has really shown. We're really lucky that we have some girls in the group who've never experienced a defeat or like a final loss at intercounty level, so that brings great energy. And then we obviously have a number of girls like ourselves who are a bit more seasoned campaigners and a bit more experienced, so there's a great dynamic amongst the group at the minute.
I suppose it did show the character of the core group of players who've been there over a number of years to keep bouncing back year after year, and you finally got over the line after 3 heartbreaks, but it did show the character of the side to be able to just keep coming back, to keep performing at a consistent level and keep getting back to the biggest day of the year.
Yeah, I think as a team you do your biggest learning when you lose. So we've experienced 3 defeats in All-Ireland finals, and that is definitely something that we don't want to ever experience again after getting the feeling of what it's like when you win. I know last year, and I'd say I could probably speak for most people, but I'll only speak for myself, but when the final whistle went, even though we were up by a significant amount of points, the first feeling is relief. You're so relieved because you've actually finally done it. So I forget what the question was. I can't help you, sir. I'm sorry. I've just ruined the whole thing. I'm so sorry.
About the character of the team to come back from those defeats and still get back to the final each year.
It does really. It brings you closer as a team, if anything, because the girls that you play with, they are. I know people say this and it's such a cliche, but they are like your family. And to see people on the pitch bawling their eyes out because they're hurt, you don't want them to experience that. So we have taken a lot of learnings from our defeats, and I do think that has shown this year, because there were games throughout the year, I'd say particularly the league semi-final against Galway, and to be honest, we stole that match from them. They should have beaten us that day. We had a really poor performance, but somehow we still managed to get a win. So in the past, I don't think we would have done that. So I do think that those defeats have stood to us in that sense, and kind of made us that little bit tougher in times when we need it, to just be a bit defiant and say, no, we're not going to lose this time.
We could have easily, I suppose, very, very easily kind of given up and rolled over, but I think we're a very hungry group, and nobody ever wanted to step away, and everybody's then when we did experience success, people still weren't happy to step away. They were hungry for more again. So obviously, yeah, I do think there's a great character in the group. For the last 5 years we've been in the top 2 countries in the team. We just want to make sure now that we're at the pinnacle, at the top of the mountain again at the end of the season.
And looking at Cork again, I suppose the players are probably a little sick talking about the 3 defeats against them. I suppose to beat Cork in the final would probably put that to bed once and for all.
Yeah, do you want to go?
I think it's obviously we were happy with the result in the semi-final. I think there's a lot of talk in the media and stuff about Cork and Dublin finals. I think, as I said already, we've had some epic encounters and some really, really good games. So we're delighted going into it. Something that we're really, really looking forward to. As I said already, this Dublin team is completely different from any Dublin team in the past. As I said, there's girls who have never experienced a final defeat, and then there's obviously ourselves who are that bit more experienced. So,
but if you look at the Cork team, they're a different side as well. Not just us, but they are a completely different side as well. So while there is history there's actually no history with these 2 teams. So they've inherited some I know they've lost some leaders, but they've inherited some very young and up and coming players. If we look at Saoirse Noonan, she's scored 6-11 in her championship campaign so far. So she's obviously a very capable player, and as a defender, I'm obviously looking at their at their forwards, and they've some solid names there. If you look at the 2 O'Sullivan sisters and Orla Finn, they're really, really good players, so we'll have our hands full.
Yeah, we'll obviously give them the respect that they deserve. They're a very formidable team, but we've obviously come a long way ourselves.
And looking at it, Sinead, you had a difficult start to the season with injury.
Understatement of the year.
Yeah, a difficult start. That must have been a bit frustrating for yourself. Doing that, but you got back into the side and have had a really good championship campaign.
Yeah. So my start of the year was much more delayed than I had anticipated, but thankfully I'm back and I'm injury free, which is amazing. And like this time last year, I was coming into the final and all I was worrying about was my calf, because I had torn my calf the week beforehand. So thankfully I don't have that worry this year. And yeah, it's a great position for me to be in. I'm fresh, I haven't played as many games, so I'm like, put me on. But it's brilliant, and all my injuries have cleared up, thankfully.
Niamh, this year yourself, you've been a goal machine for Dublin. I think there's only one game that you haven't found the back of the net. Was that something conscious you did? Do you want to add to your repertoire?
No, I suppose I've always tried to do the right thing for the team, and I've just found myself on the end of some really, really good moves. Obviously we have some powerful runners who play in the middle third on the pitch, and I was just really, really lucky to get on the end of some really good moves, as I was obviously in last year's final. I was really lucky to get on the end of a great leading run. So no, it's not something that I consciously thought about, but obviously I'm delighted with how it's gone so far. But scoring isn't something that I'm necessarily always honing in on. It's always just doing the right thing for the team at a given moment in the game.
You tend to play a number of parts for Dublin. You're usually in for the throw-ins at the start. You move between the half forward and the full forward line. How do you find playing all the different positions in the one game?
Yeah, I think we've some really dynamic forwards, so it lends to that kind of fluidity between half forward and full forward. I enjoy playing. I just enjoy playing for Dublin, so I'm happy to do any role that's given to me by the management.
Sticker and goals.
And looking back on the Galway semi-final, I think one of the things that impressed me was the transition of the ball from back to front. And Sinead, yourself, you're one of the backs. That's obviously something that has been worked on by the team, in your training sessions and the whole lot. But it seems to come down to also a lot of communication between the back six.
Yeah, the communication in that particular game was very, very good, and it was something that we had worked on. going into that game. Now in Croke Park the next day it won't be as easy because we probably won't be able to hear each other, but yeah, just moving the ball at pace. You know, the quicker you move the ball, the less likely they are going to set up, and they're going to have time to set up. So that is our style of play really, just fast attacking football, and hopefully we'll be able to do that.
I suppose moving the ball quickly against Cork will be key as well, because they do tend to flood a lot of bodies back behind the ball. I was watching their game against Donegal, and that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, we know exactly what to expect with Cork. Obviously there's been a change in personnel, but they still play the same way that they have played for the last 10 years. And we had a successful game against them this year in the National League. We had a huge amount of names involved that day who aren't still involved in the panel, and they had a lot of names who are still involved in their panel. So we learnt a lot from that day as well. We were unhappy with how we finished out, but we've obviously looked back at that game and we're really looking forward to it.
And just looking at last year's final, there was a record crowd in Croke Park. What was that like running out into? The noise was phenomenal.
It was amazing because, and I'd said this earlier to somebody else, when we ran out onto the pitch, the first thing that we could see was the upper tier in the Cusick stand, which was actually opened, and that's never happened for a ladies' final before. So for me personally, when I ran out, it was very much a wow moment. It was like, oh my God, there is so many people here. It is so loud. But that being said, it's actually very easy to block all that out. So for me, what I do is take it all in for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then just say, right now, it's time to focus on the match. And it's kind of hard to believe that it is easy to do, but you can very easily tune your head into what's just going on the pitch and block everything else out. But hopefully it'll be similar attendance again this year. Like we're looking forward to putting it on a performance, and I'm sure Cork are the exact same. So like it's a great day, and it's something to be really proud of, and hopefully people will come out and just get a chance to see the sport and to learn what it's about if they've never been there before. I know I have family who are Irish but live in Holland, and they all flew home for the match and they just couldn't believe it. They just thought it was the best thing ever. So my uncle is Dutch, and he just was like, this is incredible. So it's great, and long may it continue. I hope the attendance grows every year, and hopefully it'll go up again on Sunday week.
And just one last thing before I let you go, the Croke Park pitch itself, most people don't get the opportunity to play on it. How different is that, playing on that pitch, to sort of, you know, other pitches you would play on during the year?
Yeah, obviously it's a phenomenal surface. We were lucky in the All-Ireland Series so far. We were playing up in Dr. Hyde Park, and that's a relatively new pitch as well, so that held up really well during the drought with the heat, and then held up really well in the rain when we were playing there against Mayo. But obviously no pitch compares to Croke Park, and we were lucky that since Mick's been on board, he's been able to get us a couple of fixtures there in the National League. But obviously it's perfect surface for kick pass, and it holds up really, really well in the rain, and obviously it's quite spacious, so we'd be hoping that we'd be able to exploit that in a few weeks' time.
Okay, well, thanks very much for giving us the time to speak to you, and Niamh, Sinead, the very best of luck in the final, and hopefully we'll speak to you afterwards.
Thanks, Emil. Thanks, Emil.